fight tonight.
The 2021-2022 season previews continue today with the Colorado Avalanche. Ah, yes. The Avalanche. Now, I see certain levels of hockey. I see the missing the playoffs level, the Buffalo Sabres level, as I call it. The first round level, the Toronto Maple Leafs level, as I call it. The second round level, the Colorado Avalanche level, as I call it. And so on and so forth. So those are the teams. And Colorado just can't get past the second round to save their damn life. They genuinely can't. They lost to San Jose in 2019. They lost to Dallas in 2020. And then this year they lost to the Vegas Golden Knights in 2021. And you really wonder, like, what is causing this? What is causing this to happen? Is it just like a slump? Are we the Toronto Maple Leafs of the second round? Like, what is this? But anyways, we're going to look at their key departures, their key rivals, look at last season and the projected lineup as well. And but anyways, if you're new to the channel and have not already subscribed, really would appreciate it if you did so. We're getting really, really close to 1,000. We are less than 20 away, which is unbelievable to think. And yeah, we're going to keep rolling out the content. And I won't waste any more of your time. Let's get into that preview. So last season for your Colorado Avalanche was a pretty good season, regular season-wise. They went 39-14-4 for 82 points, and they finished first overall in the NHL. Dominant year. They were just dominant the whole way through. For a while there, they lost less than 10 games in regulation, and that's crazy for a team like that. And I think they're going to be even more unreal this coming season. Now they roll into the playoffs, and they just make St. Louis, and we said this in St. Louis's preview. They made St. Louis look like absolutely nothing. They just steamrolled right through them and beat them in 4 games. It really was not even close. I don't even think the Blues had a single lead in that just entire competition. It was unbelievable. They faced Vegas. The first game was just an act of pure dominance because Robin Lehner is bad at goaltending. Just kidding. Because Robin Lehner just had a down night, and then all that stuff that produced. Game 2, it should have been a Golden Knights win, to be honest, but Colorado still won it. Okay, they're up 2-0. Game 3, they blow a lead. Game 4, they blow a lead. Game 5, they blow a lead. And then Game 6, they lose. And that was a very tough sting for Colorado because this time they got really close to almost beating both teams, almost sweeping both teams in the first 2 rounds. The first teams to do that since, I think, the Oilers of the 1980s. And, that's a pretty big record to break. So, but it didn't do it. And they just couldn't pull it off. And I really don't know what it was, to be honest. You could argue it was just their guys not performing, the goaltending. You could argue so much stuff about this roster. And then it all just kind of fell apart. Your key departures list for your Colorado Avalanche is a big list. And, I mean, there's some big guys here. There's some depth guys here, depending on how you look at it. I'd say their biggest loss out of everyone, you could argue it's maybe someone else, Philip Grubauer, by far. Grubauer, it just, like, the thing is, like, it's like with, what's-his-face, Adam Larson from the Oilers. We discussed this a couple days ago. It's like how they were getting so close to a deal, and then it just fell off, and another team came in. Ironically, both teams were Seattle. So, Grubauer's off in Seattle now. We'll see how he does with them. And then they also lost their backup goaltender, or technically the backup goaltender, in Devon Dubnyk. He is still in free agency, if I'm correct. He has not been signed a contract by a team yet. So if he retires in a couple days or in the next couple weeks, I really would not be surprised. They also lost Jonas Donskoy to the Seattle Kraken through the expansion draft, not for his free agency. So that was very tough for them, obviously. A very solid top 6 forward. They lost defenseman Ryan Graves in a trade with the New Jersey Devils, which was also expansion draft related. If they kept Graves, they would have lost him for nothing, bottom line. So that really sucked for them. They also lost Matt Calvert to retirement. He was just battled through injuries. That's not really his fault, honestly. They lost Carl Soderberg. He was really just a fill-in rental, and then he signed off in, I think, Europe somewhere. And then they also lost Greg Pateryn, who's also in Carolina. No, he's in Anaheim now, if I'm not mistaken. I get Paterin and Cole mixed up. And then they also lost Brandon Saad, who was a very solid top 6 forward that, of course, has been shipped off to the St. Louis Blues. So there you go. That is your key departures. And honestly, it's a pretty big list. And, I mean, they're trying to fix it. But when you look at their key arrivals, I'm not too sure if they're going to fill in the voids of some of the guys that left. Your key arrivals for your Colorado Avalanche consist of, honestly, besides probably one guy, I am not too sure how I feel about this. They acquired a depth forward in Darren Helm from the Detroit Red Wings. It's not terrible, but I mean, like, it honestly could be better. They acquired Mikhail Maltsev, who honestly I'm kind of a big fan of. I like the way, I liked how he played with the Devils, and I think, if he gets a solidified, maybe not top 6, but definitely a bottom 6 role, I think he could be very solid. They also acquired Curtis McDermott from the Seattle Kraken as well. He'll come in and be a solid depth guy, no matter where he plays. And then they also acquired from the New Jersey Devils as well, through free agency, Ryan Murray. So Murray's interesting with me. Like, I don't know. He was not really that good with the Devils, and I'm not too sure how he's going to do with the Avalanche. And then their biggest guy, who can argue is probably their best guy, honestly, that they acquired this offseason, was Darcy Kuemper. Now, I'm going to be honest. The Avalanche honestly kind of got fleeced with losing Kuemper. And I'm going to be getting Kuemper. I'm going to be entirely honest. Kuemper is a solid starting goaltender. But then Arizona comes in, takes the advantage of the problem, gets a first-round pick in Connor Timmins for him. That's pretty sick. So I got to give my props to my second favorite team there in the Arizona Coyotes. And then they also acquired from the Chicago Blackhawks. It's actually, or no, Chicago, what? Ottawa. It's because he played in Chicago. From a PTO contract, Artemi Anisimov, who is just gone everywhere. So he's obviously coming from the Sens now. It'll be interesting to see what he does with the Avalanche, but that is your key rivals as of now. Your projected lineup for your Colorado Avalanche consists of, on the top 6, Gabriel Landeskog, Nathan MacKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, Andre Burakovsky, Nazem Kadri, and JT Comfort. Now, they took a big loss losing Jonas Donskoy, and that really does affect our top 6. And that's why guys like Comfort is going to rise up into the top 6. And that's a big problem. So, I mean, like, I like Comfort. I'm not going to deny that. But I don't really know if I see him as a top 6 center or top 6 forward, like, to be honest with you. I do like the first line now. Landeskog, McKinnon, Rantanen. That's just all your firepower just coming at you at once. And then, I mean, you got additional guys like Kadri. And, I mean, Burakovsky's solid as well. So, I like that. Comfort, I don't know about that on, but I mean, I think Comfort is somewhat solid. And then also, as well as that, on the bottom 6 and the fill-in guys, you have Darren Helm, Tyson Jost, and Valery Nichushkin. Then you have Mikhail Maltsev, Alex Newhook, and Kiefer Sherwood. Then you have Stefan Matteau, Shane Bowers, and Ranta. Not Auntie Ranta. Some random prospect named Ranta. For those who are saying, like, why the hell do you have Newhook making the lineup? Genuinely, when I look at their center core, it's weak. I'm sorry, it is weak. And honestly, like, they lost another solid center this season, and I just think it's much, much weaker. So I think that, Newhook will make the lineup. And I honestly wouldn't surprise me if Shane Bowers makes it the lineup, because that's just how weak I think their center core is down below. I'm not saying that Jost is bad, and I'm not saying the guys that they have below Jost are bad, but honestly, I think it's the time for Newhook to make an impact on this lineup. And then, of course, you have guys like Helm, Nichushkin, solid, great guys. And then, of course, Maltsev, as I said, definitely going to get a chance. And he's going to be very solid as well. But as for Newhook and Bowers, I think they'll both get chances, but I think it'll be very interesting. As for the blue line there, you have starting off on your first pairing, Devon Tays and Kale McCarr. Very solid pairing. Then you have Samuel Girard and Johnson. Then you have Murray and Gross. Then you have Byram and McDermott as your filling guys. Now, before you say, Nordic, why the hell do you have Byram not making it? I feel like he probably will make it, but I feel like they may start off the season with that, to be honest. But I like that first pairing of Tays and McCarr. Johnson on the second pairing, I don't even know about that, to be honest. We'll see we'll see what they do with that. And then, of course, Murray and Gross as well. I think they're solid. I think that's a solid pairing. I like Jordan Gross. I thought he played very solid for the Coyotes this last season. Then, of course, McDermott is an option as well in that blue line. So it could get interesting. And then as for your goaltending, you have Darcy Kuemper and Pavel Francouz. I like the starting part. Kemper, I think, could be a very solid starter, but if it goes wrong for Colorado, they're screwed. But not for me, though, because my Coyotes get a good pick. But anyways, Kemper, obviously, a very solid goalie if he does the right stuff. And then, of course, you have Pavel Francouz as well, who I think will be obviously another one of those very solid backup goalies. He had the chances before. He did all right with them, but, you know, it was kind of touchy. So we'll see what he does this season. Now, moving on here into my final question facing this Colorado Avalanche team. Do they make the playoffs? Yes. Thank y'all for watching. Just kidding. Anyways, yes, I do think they'll make the playoffs. I think they'll win the division easily. And then it's kind of like Toronto. It doesn't matter until the second round. Genuinely, if you can get through the regular season and the first round, they don't care how you do it. Just make sure you get past it. All that matters is the second round. That's what it is for this Colorado Avalanche team. If they want to win a cup with this core, they're going to have to get over that slump like the Capitals did. So thank you all for watching. For Sport Lay, I really, really do appreciate it. We have less than 10 of these left. Tomorrow will be the Chicago Blackhawks. They're going to be a very interesting team to cover. But anyways, if you enjoyed this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you're a new Avalanche fan or you're new to the channel, really would appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Adios.